Villanova needs for a title. Bang!
There's the emotion.
There it is.
Boom! Jordan Richard.
Champion again.
Welcome to the pregame show of the 2024 PWBA Tour Championship. My name is Emil Williams Jr., voice of the PWBA Tour, and to my left, two finalists, two players who bowled and competed very well, I might add. To my left, Felicia Wong, who did a great job in the Bowl TV booth for the PWBA Pepsi Open. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Also a Queen's finalist this year. Speaking of Queen's finalists, the 2023 Rookie of the Year, Hope Gramley, also joining me as well. First and foremost, how are you two doing?
You know, a little tired, I'm going to say, after bowling all this week.
I think that's fair.
That was a lot of games, yeah.
I think that's fair. Hope?
Yeah, I am equally as sore, but I'm happy that, we can celebrate the end of this amazing tour season with a wonderful show tonight. So.
It's a great point. A celebration it is indeed. As we get into the weekly tournament recap, we started this week way back when. It almost feels like 2 weeks ago, even though it's not. When we take back to the Greater Detroit Open, 43-foot pattern, what do you remember most about that event? So talk about the pattern a little bit.
I remember way throwing urethane, and that was something that we had tried in the practice session, but it didn't look very good for a lot of people. And so it was interesting to see that as the pattern kept getting laid down, that ball reaction ended up being better. So Wei ended up throwing the IQ 78, and it was amazing. I mean, that great ball motion led to her being successful at that tournament.
Something you learned a lot about too at the Queens with that
Yes.
very ball, but just urethane in general. Just briefly, why do you think Wei was so successful?
Well, when patterns get put down multiple times, they get a little flatter, a little earlier maybe, and so that early friction that is naturally on the lane is going to help that urethane be more reliable and just predictable. And so as long as she was able to repeat shots, which she did very well, she was going to be successful. She had a lot of miss room. She was comfortable, confident. It was great.
And then on the other side, Felicia, we had Ashley Galante, who is someone who had just been, really knocking at the door a lot over the course of her season, battling injuries, and not just this season, but really her PWBA career. She pushes the door down, makes the show, holds off Julia Bond. Describe what Ashley might have been feeling like making her first show, as you did earlier this year at the Queens.
I mean, good for Ashley for getting the first win in the
Sure.
match, right? That's big to at least build that confidence and then give you a little bit of time to settle in.
Right.
Yeah.
It was an interesting opening match, too. She had a chance to shut out completely Crystal Elliott in the opening match. Needed 6 on the fill, went 4 through the middle, which then allowed Crystal Elliott to step up and throw all 3 in the 10th to get the win by 1. She doubled and got 8 to lose by 1. So, I mean, it was the complete range of emotions in just one match, in just 1/10 frame, which really set the week off on a great note. And we fast-track a little bit, of course, to Wei and Sherry Tan meeting again in a finals for the second time this season, third time in their careers here on the PWBA Tour. Have you ever bowled against a friend or a teammate and able to get a little friendly revenge on those teammates, which is exactly what Wei did over Sherry Tan at the Greater Detroit Open?
Yeah, I have bowled against friends lots of times, whether it's in match play or just, qualifying even. And there's always that little extra competition there just because, you're my best friend, but I want to beat you just because you're my best friend. So I have experience with bowling against Olivia Farwell on a stepladder and so many other people where, I consider them my friends. I see them every week over the summer, and so we all become friendly. There's just always a little extra push to try to beat the ones you hold closer to your heart, for sure.
I don't know. I think it's even more fun because you know them so well, you can riff a little bit. I like to crotch chop my friends when I'm bowling. I think that makes things really fun, and you just run it out. And you're like, that's a strike to you, lady. I might say a different word, but...
Give a quick shout out to Brianna Cote, who also made that show and finished third. So, again, a great start. 5 great finalists, and then we move to the PWBA Pepsi Open. Jillian Martin What else can we really say about Jilly?
Acceptance. So her being able to bowl fearless is because she's already accepted all outcomes and possibilities. If you, Dr. Dean Hinnitz wrote an article in Bowling This Month a long time ago, I think it was, and he talks about samurai warriors. So when samurai warriors compete, they fight to the death. The person who's accepted their death has nothing to lose. And for Jillian, it seems like she plays like she has nothing to lose. She just goes out there, she's enjoying the moment, she's unbelievably talented, obviously. And so that combination, deadly.
I don't even know what else to say after that, folks. I mean, that right there, I think leads us into our first break here at the pregame show. Before we do that, though, I do want to give a shout out to the top seed of the Pepsi Open, who was Stephanie Zavala, 1541. That was the third highest six-game qualifying block since the relaunch. So shout out to Stephanie Zavala. And another player who made waves this week at the Tour Championship was Crystal Elliott. We mic'd her up as Ben Glasscock has been doing all season. Here's a quick peek at what's to come.
Three shows this year. I got the Road Pitch Black, the new Summit Ascent. Did you know he bowled? I didn't know he bowled. Oh God, no. Oh. Well, maybe it wasn't so bad. Do it. Oh, baby. I got a double double. That means 4-bagger. Yeah, baby. That's how we do it. Oh. Spare shooting for the win. Tell me I'm right more. I'm always right. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Can I just say that I really have enjoyed Crystal Elliott's vibe this season. You know, I didn't get a chance to really spend this kind of time with her. Hope you've had way more time from just from the collegiate aspect of things. Double double is now in my vocabulary.
Well, yes, I definitely could have used a few more of those this week. But yeah, Crystal is a wonderful person. She likes to keep bowling fun, which is very rare these days, I feel like. And, you know, just seeing her be so happy and confident while bowling has been so much fun to watch.
The opportunity for Crystal, of course, to take home Rookie of the Year, it's always an expectation. And that's something we've been talking about on Bowl TV this week. Expectations, the media's expectations, player expectation, and everyone else's versus what the player actually is believing or wants to happen. I would say she probably exceeded everyone's expectations, but maybe not even hers. Maybe her goals were just a little bit higher. But I know she wanted to win that award, and she did it. How difficult is it to win Rookie of the Year? And it's obviously something you know all about.
Yeah, I mean, it is a difficult task to complete, honestly. I mean, you're going up against other collegiate all-stars, essentially. And then when you're coming straight out of college, everybody is at their best game. They're at their peak performance straight out of college. And so if everyone is at their best and you're all on the same playing field, you're going to have to outperform them somehow, whether that's with strikes or spares or just showing up, you know. And Crystal handled that very well. She, too, was at her peak performance. She's throwing the ball amazing, which she always has. But she just kept pushing, and she wanted that trophy, and she earned it, rightfully so.
Let me ask you about the pressure portion of things, right? First of all, did you set the goal, right? Was one of your goals last season to win Rookie of the Year?
It was not.
Okay.
I didn't write it down in my little goal list that I wanted Rookie of the Year. I knew that it was a possibility for me. I knew that it was something that, you know, if I do my process and my job correctly how I want to and achieve the goals that I did write down, that Rookie would be in conversation.
Okay.
But it was not something that I was like, I'm getting Rookie of the Year. That's what I'm doing this tour. I was like, I just want to do me. I want to bowl like me, and then if I end up getting that trophy at the end of it, great. Because that's what, it's a wonderful feat that I did want, but I just wasn't working towards it. And I can probably say that Crystal felt the same way as well. She just wanted to compete on tour and bowl well and, you know, achieve those smaller goals that she had set for herself, and then just let Rookie of the Year come to her, essentially. Was
there ever a moment where you felt pressure? Like maybe the the allure of winning the award is becoming a little bit much, and you just got to get back focused.
Yeah, well, with my year, I had Carlene Beyer and me were
Yep.
racing for the whole time. She had made the Queen show, and I had made a couple shows. It was a whole year ago. So,
Sure.
but there was a close race between us two. And so going into the Tour Champs week in Iowa last year, I knew that, it was close and that I needed to perform well and just keep doing what I was doing all season up until that point. And she was right on my tail. So, it was a good race between us two. And it was a good race between Crystal and Bailey Del Rose at the beginning of Tour as well.
Absolutely.
Yep. Bailey had made a couple of cuts, and so she was getting built up points.
Yep.
She was getting close to step ladders and all that stuff. She really gave Crystal that kind of like, hey, I'm right here. I'm right behind you. Don't
Maybe a
get
little
too
extra
slackish.
push. Exactly.
Right?
Right.
And so I'm sure Crystal may have felt a little bit of that pressure, but it didn't bother her at all. She was just out here trying to win like the rest of us, and then kind of ran away with it
Sure.
at one point.
Sure. She made 2 shows this season, did. Crystal, of course, as we mentioned, one of them this week, and then the other, the very first event. So she really set the tone at the Twin Cities Open to open the season. She made that show and finished 5th. Felicia, real quick, just the rookie season for you in the aspect. And I know you bowled a full season this year. Obviously, you were not a rookie, but just take me back to the first couple of events that you bowled on tour and what that felt like for you as a new player on tour.
And I know you want me to be honest. So my first full year was 2022. And not shy to say that the first 3 events for me were literally just about getting from point A to point B and getting the ball off my hand. Forget about versatilities, changing releases and speeds. I was like, okay, you can throw a shot, you can do it. And so it actually took, even though I had bowled a few PWBA events before, being on tour full time was another level, right? And it took a little bit of time to get comfortable and acclimated in that environment and be like, okay, I'm okay.
Sure.
And then to go the step further and be like, I belong here.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, you do belong because you proved that this season, certainly, by your performance. And a lot of players have proved that, which leads us into the player of the year. You're talking about a race just like Crystal getting off to the great start. It was evident that Shannon Pluhowski was going to be someone in the player of the year mix this year, winning the first title at the Twin Cities Open. And then Janna Sin comes from Malaysia, literally off the plane, and wins in Rockford. And it was just like, okay, we've got definitely a duel at the very least. And then later in the season, of course, Sherry Tan says, no, don't worry. I'm going to stay a full season this year also, along with New Way Finn and, of course, Team Singapore as well. And then Verity late put her name in the hat. And then it became almost like this week, like you could pull a name out of the hat, and that person could end up being player of the year. Describe that situation just as a player and kind of understanding, you know who's bowling well. Obviously, as players, you know who's winning. So from your vantage point, on the lanes, like, did you feel like, okay, like, and obviously you're worrying about your own self, so don't get me wrong, but did you feel what was happening regarding the player of the year in each situation?
To feel it, no, because I was not in that race. However, it was very fun to watch it all unfold. Standing still on tour and being able to experience this race firsthand because we were all here. It was fun to watch Shannon and then Jane and then Verity and Sherry and all of them be like, hey, no, like, you may have won first, but I'm right here, So it was a lot of fun to watch from kind of behind the scenes, but
Right.
also firsthand at the same time. Very exciting.
And Felicia, for you, like, did you, as the season kept going on, and you're watching and you're doing your thing and you're trying to put your own name in the hat for Player of the Year, but is it one of those things where sometimes you can kind of step back and appreciate what your fellow peers are also trying to accomplish too?
100%. And to watch, actually, Shannon stood out to me a lot because she's been on the tour ever since the relaunch. She's always in the top 16 in points, even when it's maybe not so favorable on the left side.
Sure.
She's always in the top 16 in points. So that just speaks to how good she is. To be able to see her to actually win and have an opportunity to be in the Player of the Year race was very exciting. Always supporting her, and then to see that Jane, Sherry, and Shannon were only 1,000 points difference going into this tour championship event. That was crazy. it could have been any one of them. And I didn't even know that Verity was, in that late surge. But absolutely, if she had made the show, then she could have been in there as well.
Yes, I mean this was one of the more remarkable races I could certainly remember in a while. The Steel Championship week certainly has been so remarkable. We've been talking about impressions and things that have stood out to us. Real quick, Hope, Felicia, give me one player, or it could be really anything about the season that has stood out, that has left an impression on you.
Well, just about the season in general, I'd have to say scoring pace overall. I feel like the scores were much higher this year than they were last year, just in general. And that could be a testament to just how much better all these ladies are getting. So I need to kick my butt into shape and start keeping up a little bit better.
Yeah, Felicia?
We've always known this, but I would say how nice everyone actually is. I've always known that, but there's just even more so across the board, people supporting each other and cheering each other on. And it was more evident during this last event at the Tour Championship week. You're bowling head-to-head match play, and not everyone, but you're still doing your thing. There's a lot more camaraderie and, hey, great shot, go get it. And it was with all the different matches that I bowled. So that was really, really fun to see, actually.
There were a few players that left an impression on me. Certainly Crystal Elliott was one. Danielle McEwen trying to fight through injuries, and really every player who tried to fight through injuries this season. And certainly Janna Sin, you mentioned Shannon Puhalski, Sherry Tan just continues to impress, and Wei's versatility actually stood out to me. But three players who joined us from Japan this week, Moeka Kaneko, Ayano Iwami, and Suzuna Miyagi, joined us, and boy, was it a fun week here in Detroit. Our crew got a chance to catch up with members from Japan.
YouTube とかで見てる有名な選手と投げられてとても幸せな時間でした。
So watching YouTube, only seeing all these big players on TV, she felt like it was an actual dream come true.
What's some of your favorite food that you've had while you've been in America?
ピザ。
で、そこのチキン。
The chicken that was in the book. The wings.
チキン、サンダーボール。
チーズバーガー。
Cheeseburger.
美味しい。
We're trying to do this program every year for all the JPBA bowlers. This is what Suzuna started. And we're going to try to come every year, try to bring more JPBA pros.
Why has that been so important for you to bring them over here and bowl with us?
日本のボーリング。
Well, the Japan bowling is, of course, great, but unfortunately, there's a little difference in bowling in the States. She loves the American bowling style and the PWBA.
Most memorable moments you guys have had in the United States so far?
今回アメリカに来て一番の思い出になったもの。
普段こうやって3人で。
Before, she came alone, and it was only me and her. But this time, she brought two different pros that usually she doesn't really hang out with. And it was really nice to hang out with these two people. Plus, we had support, which is me and my friend Lee. We really made sure that they didn't have to stress about the different cultures and food. So she was really relieved and concentrated on just bowling, so that was great.
日本だお金がかかるのをグッズで日本のみんなが協力してなんか試合台にしてくれたっていうのと。
So what we did before we came, we made this a whole Japan tour that we're coming to the PWBA, and everybody chipped in and we sold merchandises and everything. And we kind of put the whole Japan bowling crowd to this thing. So they're not only bowling by themselves, but everybody is watching us. So it was great.
毎日が新鮮。
Everything was just new. Before coming here, prepping for this whole tournament was something new. Coming here, being in the United States for the first time was fresh. Meeting all these foreign people was fresh. So for her, everything was just fresh and it was great.
Well, I would love to see, let's bring the PWBA to Japan.
男子のジャパンカップに行ってたんですけど、
あー
女子のやつも行きたいので、ぜひみんなで
ぜひ
実現しましょう。
はい、頑張ります。
Yes, please.
Come on.
I just want food. I just want the food. Thank you guys so much.
はい、
Thank you.
Thank you. ありがとうござい
Thank
ます。
you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ricky and Lee, and certainly Suzuna, Moeka, and Ayano. Fantastic group. And if I get a chance to go to Japan, please sign me up. I would have to imagine you two would be in on that as well.
Count me in.
Absolutely.
I'll go.
Okay, so we're in. Decision makers. Folks, obviously now we're nearing time for the Tour Championship show. Of course, CBS Sports Network, 7 p.m. Eastern. If for some reason you're out and about and you can see what we're doing right now, but you can't get back home to watch, make sure you dig into your preferred TV app, hit DVR right now, so you don't want to miss this show. Speaking of the show, we've got 5 fantastic individuals, and we start at the top. The number 1 seed, Jordan Richard, home state, Michigan. 1 hour away is the driving distance from Tipton to this very location here at Thunderbolt Lanes. Her second show of the week. The only thing right now missing from Jordan's resume, she's got Player of the Year. She's got Rookie of the Year. She does not have one major title. That could change with one game tonight. Hope Felicia. Let's break down Jordan and specifically, what does she have to do to get this thing done in one game?
Oh, she's just got to be doing what she did all of match play for the top 24. It's not like she was blowing it out of the water, but she was putting solid games together and she was winning matches. That right there kept her in the number 1 position pretty much the entire time.
I mean, this pattern is so tough. You just want to keep it in front of you, stick to your process, right? If she starts thinking about the want to win, that's when, right, things can go a little bit sideways, as we all know, right? So just keep it in front of her, one frame at a time, doing Jordan things.
Doing Jordan things is never a bad thing. We talked about the family element for Jordan earlier in the program. She's going to have a ton of family here, which is always comforting. Certainly, she mentioned to me specifically for Jordan. Have you ever got a chance to bowl in front of family and friends and really been successful in that sense? And what's that like to be able to just enjoy that little bit of additional support?
You know what's funny is I was bowling that match against Kelly in the Queens, right? And I throw a double, and then she strikes, and the crowd goes wild, and I'm like, I think you might be the hometown favorite. And so there's just a little bit of edge in the air in the favor of the person who's the hometown favorite. You can feel it.
Right.
You can feel it.
Yes. I have had the chance to bowl in front of family multiple times in big moments in my career, and it is so nice to be able to turn around and know that those people are there for you and they support you and they're praying, crossing their fingers, cutting off a rabbit's foot, all that fun stuff to try to get anything in your favor. And it's just comforting to know that there's people back there who are here for you. So.
Okay, the number 2 seed is Janna Sin, and we talked about Jane's resume a little bit, but let's give you a little bit more. U.S. Women's Open, 2 additional titles, 3 titles, of course, overall, and certainly now, essentially the Player of the Year. What a season for Janna Sin, and the opportunity to be on tour for a full season, and it just happened to work out internationally regarding the Malaysian schedule, that they didn't have a lot of events during the summertime. She will head back almost immediately after the show and head to or get prepared for the Asian Championships here in September. Speaking of keeping your angles in front, Janna Sin loves to do that. Firm ball speed, and she was very good last night to make sure she got a spot on the show. What does she have to do to get the dub tonight?
Exactly that. Keep it in front of her and put some ball speed behind it, and she'll be fine. She won't give up the pocket. She hardly ever does anyway. But then this pattern, the angles, especially last night in match play, it just matched up perfectly with her, and she made a big charge to make the show.
Same.
You know, and she's been one of the top players in the world for however many years, and for her to get the opportunity to actually compete full-time on this tour, we're able to see what she's capable of, and she does that, she's going to be fine.
Stephanie Johnson. Now, the last time Hope we did a pregame show, Steph was on the show, U.S. Women's Open, and we talked about her experience probably playing a big key into the situation. When I saw Steph kind of making that charge and making the run the first couple rounds, it was easy, almost like Janna Sin, where the harder they get, Steph is typically around the number where she needs to be. keeps the angles in front, doesn't do a ton, knows how to win, and is experienced in majors. When you add all that up, it sounds like a champion to me. What does Steph have to do to get it done tonight?
I mean, she's been in a major several times on TV shows. She knows all what it's about. So Steph can just be Steph. And again, stay grounded and remember who she is and what she brings to the table. She's going to be more than fine. She's shown us time and time again that she's also a shot maker.
Absolutely.
So for her, it's like just keep making those shots, get the right ball in her hand, and she's going to be there.
Nope.
I think a lot of her confidence will stem from the fact that she made the Women's Open show.
Yep.
I think she also has a little bit of revenge in her somewhere in there because she made good shots in the show. Unfortunately, didn't come out on top. And so she's going to be looking to make, maybe not perfect because perfect is a strong word, but she's going to be making great shots tonight. She wants to win. She wants to enjoy the moment and just be happy that she's made it this far. So she'll be dangerous tonight.
Absolutely. Don't sleep on the zebra cakes queen. The number 4 seed, New Wei Finn. And I believe Wei is in the top 3 on tour in regards to versatility. I don't think there's anything she cannot do with a bowling ball, and we keep being treated to these performances by her. And again, it's the byproduct of being able to have Singapore and Malaysia for full seasons worth. We get a chance to see each and every week how they adjust. What stands out about Wei in each of your opinions, and then what does she have to do to win tonight?
Well, this week specifically for Wei, I've been able to see this different kind of level of confidence from her that we kind of been missing so far this year. She came into the first event this week, the Greater Detroit, and she was bowling so well. And then she just kept elevating that bar. She kept raising it. She pushed others to be better. And that was something that we hadn't really seen yet this year. And so that newfound confidence and that building that she's doing just to put herself in the position over and over again is scary.
Alicia?
I would agree. Actually, what struck me yesterday when I was bowling with her or against her was just how cool and calm and collected she is. She has this, like what Hope was saying, the confidence, but it's just a really unassuming, she's there, but she doesn't have to be showy about it. And
She's a vibe.
She's a vibe, and she's just doing her thing, and it's really cool to watch.
All right, so our number 5 seed, probably the most intriguing story, certainly of the week. Missy Parkin, from SoCal, of course, was the alternate entering the Tour Championship. She was 25th after the points were all said and done. Julia Bond grabbed 24th. Missy Parkin settled in as the alternate. Unfortunately, Diana Zavjalova did bowl the first block and elected to withdraw for personal reasons. We are thinking about Diana Z and I hope all is well. But Missy took full advantage of her opportunity. She started out winning the first 4 matches, and it was quickly clear. I'm like, well, Missy's starting to make a quick rise. Obviously, the pattern's tough. The scoring pace is low. So winning matches and great games are a combination to send you through the roof regarding the standings, and that's exactly what happened. She did what she had to do late last night. Verity was in the mix last night as well, needed to double. Got the first one in the 10th, not the second. Missy's on the show. How surprised are you at this, or what we're witnessing tonight?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, she loves this pattern. The scores were low, and she was able to capitalize on, being able to bowl with us.
Not just capitalize. She shot 1779
Crazy.
on one of the toughest patterns we bowled on this entire season, and everyone's just trying to shoot 180, 190. It was like, what?
I was patting myself on the back for a 180, and she's over here shooting 230s like it's nothing. But yeah, she bowled great. She had the best ball reaction in the building for all 2 match play blocks.
Sure.
And, I mean, she took full advantage of being able to have that clear picture and repeat shots better than anybody else in the tournament.
Missy did not receive any bonus spins, so she came in with a 0-8 match play record and a 1509 scratch total, so minus 91. That is where Missy started, at minus 91, somewhere between 20th and 24th in that regard. When you listen to all of that, coupled with the pattern, of course, that you just talked about, something that we know that Missy actually prefers and likes.
Yes.
I mean, this felt like a match made in heaven, almost destiny, if you will.
Coming in cold, not knowing if you're going to bowl or not, she practiced every practice session. It's like she just knew that she was going to bowl because she jumped right in ready to compete, but also had the mentality of, I'm so grateful to be bowling. This is bonus bowling for me.
We heard from all 5 of our TV finalists. Let's hear more from them. And on the other side, we'll break down predictions, and we're off and running. Tour Championship coming up next.
At the end of the day, it's just about you and the lanes. You know, I've made a couple Tour Championships, finals, and anytime I'm ever in the hunt, it's literally just paying attention to what the lane's telling me to do and try to make the best shots that I can. I just try and enjoy the moment. You know, I don't know how many more opportunities I'm ever going to get. You know, the only thing you can do is just put yourself in that position. So, you know, when it comes showtime, I'm just going to make the best shots that I can and see where I end up.
I feel like the only thing that I'm missing is a major. If you were a major titleist, like, you were better than other people. And then it's like, then I won Player of the Year, and that's a title that not many people have. So I always thought I would win a major before I won Player of the Year, but I'm going to try and do it the opposite way. I feel like it's not like, it doesn't solidify my career by any means, but I feel like to be a major winner, like, that's what I'm missing out on.
I told myself to just focus on what I'm supposed to do. We are humans. We make mistakes. We have low games. We have high games. So I just focus on what I'm supposed to do. No matter what happens in bowling, never give up until the last shot, because you never know what will happen.
I think I'm just very lucky to have this opportunity. Like, without the SPEC scholarship, without the government supporting us, we wouldn't be able to come here. I think that's why they are investing money in us to be able to do well on all these platforms, is to inspire and influence the future of our sport.
I think just the, fact that we have something to bowl. I was in that class of bowlers that had to bowl and compete against the guys for over a decade. So the fact that we have tournaments to bowl, that we have an entire season, year after year, that means everything. When I found out that I was gonna come to this tournament, I was telling DJ about how big this trophy is. And I was like, Mommy wants that one. DJ's all about the trophies. So he's like, Mommy, you gotta win that one.
They are like the backbone to everything I do. Like, they're my driving force for so many things. Like, when you fall, they pick you back up. And it's like you fail, but you don't. And you always have them. And no matter how terrible things go, like, I have a life outside of bowling, and like, they are number one. And they always will be. And they always have been.
Today was the first day of school that I missed. And I got to FaceTime my kids in the morning, but it's hard. And I just hope one day that they really understand what Mommy's doing, and that I get to chase my dream, and that I do it for them. And everything I do is with them in mind. They give me good luck charms before I leave. It's just the best feeling ever to have that back home, and knowing that no matter what happens, they're proud of me. Win or lose, Mommy gets to come home. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. Winning would be amazing, obviously. I mean, that's incredible. But I've already won. I get to do what I love to do. I have an amazing family at home. And, what's better than that?
So emotional. We appreciate all of the players for joining us and joining the crew to share a few words about tonight's show. Show predictions brought to you in part by shoppwba.com, and Felicia and Hope graciously sporting some of the merchandise that you can go check out and purchase. If you're on site tonight at the show, come on down. We got plenty of merch. If not, check shoppwba.com online for your latest merch today. Hope, show predictions.
I'm going with Jordan. She's going to have her family. She's familiar with this building, even though she may not always bowl in the arena.
Sure.
She bowls here. She has before. I don't see how she's going to let this slip from her fingers.
The TV show specifically contested in the famous Arena Bay, Strobel Arena. Shout out to Tom, RIH. But so it's a different situation, and some of the players may or may not be familiar. Does that give anyone a particular advantage? Jane, maybe Stephanie come to mind.
You know, if the arena, this is the first time they're actually going to put the pattern out on that lane bed surface, and no one's bowled on that yet. I've heard that the arena is a little tighter. Maybe someone like Stephanie might have an advantage. She's very forward with her hand. She keeps her angles in front of her. She's really good at playing it into the 3-pin, into the pocket. So,
well, but we also said Jane does the same thing. So I think the.
Well, I agree. I think Jane. I would choose Jane just because of those things. I feel like if you need to remove the lane and take it out of play, that's Jane's.
Yes.
A game plus, right? She's getting an A plus in that regard. And honestly, at this point, considering what she's done this season, it would truly be fitting for her to nab another major, make title number 4, and really make this, certainly one of the best seasons we've seen. It could be the best season we've seen since Shannon O'Keefe's 2019 season. No one has won 4 or more titles since 2019, and Shannon O'Keefe won 5. So that's kind of what's on the line, too, for Jane. Want to thank Felicia Wong and Hope Gramley for joining us today. Want to thank our entire crew, certainly, and staff. Curtis Von Crew, Ben Glasscock, Leah Zweig, Patrick Martinez, Jason Thomas, everyone involved, certainly Bowl TV, Robin Graves, Damon Sirocco, Parker, Donovan, Carolyn, every single person that has involved. Caleb Smiley joined us this week, and he just kind of showed up. I'm like, Caleb's here. Appreciate you, Caleb. He is so great at everything he does. Everything cannot happen, certainly with all the people that we named, and certainly I'm missing some folks. So, but for the entire crew, the entire staff, everybody regarding the PWBA, and certainly you, the Bowl TV community, the best fans in all of bowling, we appreciate your support without a shadow of a doubt. And for the final time here, the national touring season, we say so long for now. For Hope Gramley, Felicia Wong, my name is Emil Williams Jr. The Tour Championship show is next. Click on over, CBS Sports Network, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We will see you all soon. Until then, be safe, be well, and we will see you in 2025.